Welcome back guys, and if you're new to the channel, make sure you do click subscribe, turn that alert notification on, leave us a comment, click like, whatever you do, greatly appreciate it. So today I'm actually going to be running my Smith & Wesson. This is their performance center and it's called a ported core, and that just stands for a ported barrel and slide, and core is competition optic ready, and you can see I do have a Trijicon on here. But my firearm is completely unloaded to include my magazine for it, and the ammo I'm going to be utilizing today are just dummy rounds. So they're completely fake. There's no gunpowder, no primers, nothing like that. I'm going to be utilizing those. So you can see I've already opened up my owner's manual for this particular gun to the loading section, and it has things in red, obviously super important, so make sure you read through that, and it tells you exactly how to load up this magazine and insert it in the gun so that when you get out to the gun range, you can look like a pro. So the first thing I want to talk about though is loading up your magazine. So I'm going to grab my empty magazine and I'm just going to put 2 of these in here. You can see that there's a piece of metal and it kind of closes off right there, and then you have your follower right here. So what you want to do is have your bullet facing forward, just like the base of that magazine plate right here. And what I'm going to do is put the round piece right on that follower, press down and slide it to the rear. Now the next one, I like to put my thumb right on top where that piece closes off up here so I can press down. And now the reason I do that is round on round, it can slip around a little bit, but because I'm pressing down on that, I'm able to get that next round in there. Again, these are fake rounds, so even if I pulled the trigger, you're going to hear an audible click, not a bang. That's why I'm actually utilizing them. So the first thing is, let's say your gun or your slide was actually forwards in this configuration and you wanted to load this up. The first thing you could do is pull it to the rear, and you have a slide lock right here. You're going to pick that up. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to lock it to the rear so I can visually and physically ensure that there's nothing inside here, and I know it is clear. So option number 1 of actually loading this up is insert your magazine right through that magazine well. And if it's going at the right angle, you don't need to force it. If it's the wrong angle, it's like playing blocks when you're a kid. If you have the wrong angle on here, it's not going to go inside here. But if you put it in at the right angle, it goes in nice and easy. So now that that's inside here, you have 2 different options. Option number 1 is I could pull back and just release it. And I'm going to lock it to the rear so you can see I did actually load it. Option number 2 though is what I could do is put this in and press down on my slide release, which is on this side. So watch when I press that switch this time. It did actually close it. We don't have any more ammo inside the magazine because I only had 2 rounds and we already removed 1. So the other one is now inside my chamber. So here it is. So 2 different options. Let's do that again so you guys can see it. I'm just going to load this off camera so I can do it a little bit faster. So option number 1, insert, pull back, release. Notice when I do this, I'm not actually babying this forward. So I'm going to clear it out for a second. I'm going to do that, but I'm going to do it slow this time. And I'm just trying to kind of baby it. Now the reason that this is really bad, and you guys will be able to see this a little bit. Right back here, my slide is not all the way forwards. So if I go to pull my trigger right now, nothing's going to happen. It's just squishy. And the reason that happens is because my gun is out of battery. So because you didn't let the gun slam and just work itself how it's meant to be used, you have to actually tap that forwards. Now that it's all the way flush right here, which again you guys can see, if I pull my trigger this time, you'll hear the audible click. Perfect. So I would have actually shot a round off. And the only reason that actually worked, again, was because I did not baby the firearm. Let it do its business. Slam that home every time. Remember, when you pull that trigger, there's literally an explosion inside this chamber so that your action can operate very quickly for you. If you're not doing it and letting it slam like that, you're just going to end up having jam after jam. So let's lock that to the rear. And I'm going to slide around to the other side so you guys can hopefully see this a little bit better. So here's my gun. Slide is locked to the rear. Insert my magazine. Right here is my slide release. So I'm going to hit that and I just loaded it up. So we can see there's only one round left inside my magazine, so that other round is inside my chamber. So one more time, insert, press down, gun is loaded. We know that because there's no more ammo inside my magazine. Alright guys, I hope that kind of helped you as far as how do you load this, how do you, you know, the different ways to do it. As far as which way is better, pulling back on your slide or using that slide release, ultimately it comes down to you and your actual training. Whatever you are more accustomed to that you can do quickly is going to be the best bet for you. There's a lot of people who will say gross muscle, you should always pull back because during that adrenaline rush, when you're nervous, you're not going to be able to use that. Now, I'm just going to talk about that for a second. Your trigger finger is not a gross motor, and you can still operate a trigger during a high stress situation. So why couldn't you actually utilize that switch during a high stress situation? I don't think either way matters, but if you're accustomed to pressing down on this and you're able to do it without like a struggle, go ahead and hit it. The only problem I would ever say with utilizing this little switch is pretty simple. The bulk metal up here is a lot stronger of metal than what this is. Typically, your slide lock, slide release switch right here is actually going to be something more like aluminum or a lighter weight metal. So when you start utilizing that over and over and over again, you might end up scarring it a little bit so it doesn't actually grab. And I'll kind of demonstrate that. If I go to press this in without hitting that button, watch my slide. Let's see if we can do it harder this time. There we go. So I actually was able to load it because it's been scarred a little bit. So if I slam that magazine in without hitting my release, I could actually load a round up into the chamber. So a lot of times people think that's pretty cool, and I'll be honest with you, although it's kind of neat that it works, you could see I had to use quite a bit of force to slam that magazine in there to have it do it. So you're gonna lose your sight picture and go off target. So it's not the greatest thing. It doesn't take that much time to just hit that slide release, pull back on your slide, whatever option you want to run. So find the way that works perfect for you. Practice it, get out there, train. If you guys like this type of content or you have different content you'd like us to actually make a video about, click like, leave us a comment. I try to respond to all those comments that you guys leave. So thanks for the info and the feedback in prior videos. I appreciate it, and that's why we're doing videos like this. This is the type of content people wanted, is the very basics. Not all the other stuff that we've been doing recently. They wanted to really break it down to the basics, so I'm trying to get to that for you guys. Again, thanks for watching.